What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be talking about the truth about smoking weed and being a music producer. So let's get right into this. Alright guys, I want to preface this by saying this is from my own experience. So if you don't feel the same way, that is completely fine. But this is stuff that I've found in my own life and I want to share with you guys. And if you don't think this applies to you, I want to challenge you to think a little deeper about it and see if any of these things that I'm about to say are things that happen to you as well. Okay, so first I want to talk about my experience. I used to smoke quite a bit, on and off, pretty much my whole life. When I first stopped doing it is when I moved to Nashville area. I stopped smoking weed for a while. Obviously, I couldn't get it here. It's not legal and all of that stuff. So things that I noticed right away is when I started making beats, I was way more critical of what I was doing. I started making the best beats that I have ever made because of that. And it's literally the same exact thing happened to me. I started getting into it again once I was living here and I could get it. I started smoking again. And I noticed that my beats weren't really progressing and getting that much better. And so recently, I actually decided to quit again because I thought it was making me more lazy and things like that. And I just didn't want to be addicted to anything or have something that I needed every day. And what do you know? The first two beats that I made after I stopped smoking are the hardest beats that I've ever made, hands down. And I think that's hugely due to the fact that weed makes everything better. It makes music better, it makes food better, it makes experiences better. So with that being said, you're more easy to say, okay, this sounds good, it's good enough, let's move on. Now that can be a big issue, especially when you're trying to get better at making beats. You should really be very critical of every single beat that you make so you know exactly where you need to improve and what things you need to work on and tweak. So I've noticed that it takes me a lot longer to get better and progress when I'm smoking all the time and making music. It just does. Like I said, when I stop, I'm making the best beats I've ever made for like the first time again. It's honestly insane. Also, for me personally, when I'm smoking, it does make me lazier. I always say to myself, I'm not lazy. Once I smoke, I'm in the mood to make a beat and everything's awesome. And yeah, that's usually true when I first start smoking. But as I get into it and I start doing it more and more and it gets into my system, I start becoming lazier and I don't really notice it. I start not wanting to make beats as often, even though I enjoy when I'm making them. It takes me longer to get my YouTubes uploaded and shit done. And I just get less done in general because I'm lazy. And I just find myself watching more videos and doing other things that aren't related to music and that aren't bettering me on my path as a music producer. So guys, like I said, these are my experiences that I've dealt with while I've been smoking and trying to produce. And maybe it's not that way for everyone. The problem with me is that I have a very addictive personality. So I'm not just going to be able to smoke in the afternoon. I'm not just going to be able to smoke one time a day. I'm going to want to be high all throughout the day. That's just something that I have to live with. So when I give it up, I'm not smoking at all. There is no in-between for me. And maybe that's true of a lot of you as well. There is no in-between. So that's something that you really need to take into consideration. Another thing is it's very, very costly. Imagine what else you could be doing with that money. How many plugins could you buy? Could you get mentoring sessions from some bigger producers? Could you get new drum packs? Could you invest in your studio and your equipment and everything like that? Imagine what else you could be doing with all that money instead of just smoking it to the ground. So I just want to challenge you a little bit. So if you're also smoking weed and you're a music producer, think about these things a little bit. Is it really affecting your life? Is it really worth it? Are you actually getting better and better and better every single time you're making a beat? Or are you just saying, okay, this sounds good enough for this beat, let's move on to the next one? Because yeah, you're going to be getting experience when you're smoking and making music production. You're always going to be experienced because you're always making beats. But is that experience lacking? Could you be getting 50 experience points instead of 15? That's the real question that I want to ask you. Is it worth it for you to smoke and make beats and have fun? Or are you really trying to take this serious and become a professional music producer or whatever you may want to do with your music? Ultimately, I think that you should get your skills to a point where they're undeniably amazing and then you can start to tinker around with it a little bit. But always watch out for these little things that I've been mentioning here, because they can really come back to bite you in the ass later when you realize, hey, I could have been way, way, way above where I'm at right now if I wasn't smoking every single day. Now, with this being said, I am not against weed at all. So if you smoke, that is completely fine. And if you're someone that can smoke once a day or every so often, then good for you, because that's a lot better than I can say for myself, and maybe for a lot of people as well. So these might not apply to everybody, but I think it's definitely going to hit a couple people in here. And if it does, please let me know in the comments if you experienced any of these things and what you're going to do to change it, because I would really love to know. And guys, I'm always here to help you. If it's hard for you guys to quit or anything like that, you can always talk to me. You can always get a hold of me on Instagram or my Snapchat, and I'll get back to you and I'll help you guys through this. But anyways, guys, I wanted this to be a short one and more of a thinking video, just to get you thinking about if smoking weed and making music is the best route for you. So I hope you guys like this one. Smash the like button if you did. Also, leave a comment below if you fall in this category. Are you smoking all the time? Have you noticed any of these things? Also, leave a comment below if you're one of those people that can do it once in a while and be fine and you don't get super addicted to it. I'd love to hear, and I'd love to know what your guys' experiences are with this. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe and click the notification bell, because we're uploading daily tutorials that are going to help you get better in your music production career. And besides that, I'll be catching you guys again in the next one. Peace out, gang.